Welcome back, YouTube. So doing a price update, and it looks like what we were, let me remove this out of the way. It looks like what we were expecting to happen, some of the suspicions we had as far as before we break into these new zones, we probably see a cool off. And what we were hoping for was that it wouldn't be like these giant rockets because we're looking to kind of establish that support before breaking into that new zone so that we can have some strength in some of these floors. This appears to be happening. The bull run, the analogy I like to use is you think of, they say it's a bull run, but it's because it's kind of like bulldozing through everything and the candles are running typically in one direction, but you can think about it like running a marathon, right? So when you're running a marathon, the more powerful the move up, the more likely you are going to need like a break or a rest before you continue your ascent. It's kind of like running a marathon. You're still going the same direction. Nothing has changed, but you're changing pace, right? So when you're looking at some of these days here, I'm going to show you here on Bitcoin just because most of the money goes into here first, and then we're going to take a look at some other coins. But consider this initial run up here before we had a lot of these crosses here, like before we got the 14, the 200, the 72, and the 200. Think about this, right? We had this initial run up, we took a little bit of a break, and then we had a powerful move up, like out of the 20s, almost to like from like the low 20s, almost up to what is this? Like to the mid 30s, really. And then we had a couple days where we closed down, a couple days, really just some sideways action here, a little indecisiveness. And then we kind of used the 14-day. The 14-day caught up, right? Because these are all days, right? So this is not something that happened overnight. The 14-day caught up, and then we basically used that. The Bitcoin used that as kind of like support, basically, until it caught its breath, took a little break, and then we had the ascend and the powerful move up here. And so you can see something like this, and this is what adds this is a perfect example of what I mean by adding strength to floors, right? So if you have this breakdown here, you'll say, okay, well, is it at risk of having a gap down to this level or to where we previously had support? No, because you have built some strength in this floor. And this is what we're looking, well, I'll say it's what's best if you're looking to kind of knock the extreme volatility out of a coin, right? So when you do stuff like this, you'll say, okay, well, what does this mean for Doge breaking into this zone here? Well, what this means is, you have this powerful move up. And matter of fact, we can take a similar approach here. You were on the cusp of going into that lower liquidity level. And then you had the run up to the top of the liquidity level before you had any of these major crosses. Same thing, using the 14-day as support, being able to go up, ran into the next zone, and didn't have enough of the momentum, came back down, broke trend actually, grabbed liquidity, and pretty much resumed trend at a little slightly higher high, using the 14-day for a few days, and then going on another run. So these breaks are not bad, and I really think it just adds strength to these floors here because, again, if you have, like, let's say some major news comes out or they do a denial of the ETF or a postpone the ETF or Coinbase loses the lawsuit and something like that, something negative on a macro scale, right? You'll say, okay, well, what does this do for short term? People get a little fearful and stuff like that. Are we at risk of gapping back down to like 5.9 or something like that? Highly unlikely. Even if we did, it wouldn't be like falling off of a cliff because you built up support at these other levels here where people are going to feel comfortable buying in. So this is what we're looking for here, especially at around before we break into this next zone here and head toward 10 cent. This is what we've been talking about for the last few days, is building up some strength here in this floor before you're being able to break up. Because if you have this ascend up into this level and this floor is weak, then you can say, okay, well, if we plow through that floor, then you're going to more than likely come back down here into some of these lower zones. So what you're looking to do is kind of have a floor here with some strength to it. So that way you can kind of stay in this range here. And this is going to how you can just literally build what I call like the stairway to heaven, right? I say this often, but I know you guys will probably get tired of it, but I promise you the stairway to heaven is a lot better than the rocket ship. So you'll be able to kind of gauge these things here before you're able to make your decisions as far as whether or not you're going to be like investing or what are going to be your entry points and stuff for that. So it'll make a lot more sense. Let's take a look here to see if we have any significant increases on shorts. Not really. Up 14% on the day. No, I'm going to say compared to what it was a few months ago, not any significant positions being taken, but they are becoming more active. And I think that we'll see this become active as we start to kind of chip away at these zones, these upcoming zones here, possibly up into, let's see, I believe once we get into this zone here, because the next zone will clear us, I believe, for at least open the door for us to go to like around 11 cent here. So we see them becoming active, especially when this huge wick, this huge push down we got yesterday. So I believe that as we become active and we start to ascend to some of these levels, we'll see the shorts become more active as we get into these levels here to try and take positions and not get wrecked, right? Because we talked about this in the last video. If you were short and you came in here and you're saying, oh, okay, we're going to short it back down to 6 cents roughly. You would have had a great time from 872 down to around 7 cents. You would have had a great time. You would have been all smiles, and this right here would have been a trail of tears for you. So they're being careful, but being strategic as well, not jumping the gun here, making sure that the momentum kind of tires out, because typically when you're shorting, that's usually what you do. You want to kind of catch it on a break and not try and stop a freight train that's running 100 miles per hour. That's how you get ran over. So they're very strategic. So let's kind of keep that in mind, that we may see but an increase in shorts over the next few days. But overall, this is still very good price action for these coins here. So just wanted to provide an update. Let me make sure there's nothing. Let me just check Ethereum really quick before I close here so we can get an idea of capital flowing into the market. I don't think. Yeah, Ethereum's doing good. Ethereum is having a little bit of a yo-yo here, but as of right now, it's above its previous, the last 48 hours, basically, 23.31, because we had yesterday kind of canceled out the gains from the day before. Ethereum's doing good. So we'll see where it closes, because so far it's only had one day where it closed down lower. Not as explosive price action as Bitcoin or Doge, but still moving along in the trend and using the 14-day down here as well. And it tells a similar story to the other ones we looked at as far as for the run, catching a break, having the run, a little bit reaching down to grab some liquidity, but still ascending up. So again, nothing out of the norm from here. So we'll just kind of keep that on our radar to kind of get a feel for the market. So, but anyway, that is my price update for these coins. Everything is looking good. We'll check back in a little later today to see how these candles are shaping up, and we will go from there. If you found any value, please like, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all of the new subscribers. We're now over 51,000. So I'm thankful for all of you. I will continue to keep my no fluff approach as we continue to grow and put this information out there so you guys can make educated decisions along with your own research, and we can all just grow together. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one.